So alignment is so important, especially higher handicappers who simply rely on their feet to get themselves aimed up. You know, the feet are least important of all your aiming components. Basically your feet, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and then your eyes. But your feet, you could have your feet to the right, to the left, and still be okay. But very important for high handicap players or people who slice or pull to get your upper body square. We see so many times that so many players have their upper body aimed to the left. I always tell golfers, if you want to get your aim absolutely perfectly correct, tell people where you're aiming after you hit it. Then you never get it wrong. But seriously though, alignment is a very important aspect. It's something you can control as long as you're aware of where you are aiming. If you go to a professional tournament, you'll see many of the players will lie clubs out on the ground to help them with their alignment. Simply because it is a difficult game, a difficult sport to get yourself lined up correctly every time. There's many times where we think we're aiming and where we're actually aiming are two different things. Now here's a little system that can actually help you to get yourself positioned properly every time. Very simple and something I suggest you do when you practice. That way you can eliminate the variable of poor alignment. There's no reason why you should be aligned poorly. It's just a matter of being disciplined enough to aim correctly every time. So what I want you to do is get behind the ball, lie a club down, pointing directly at the target. Okay, so I'm choosing a tree in the distance. Okay, important when you practice that you do pick out a target, not just hit anywhere. All right, so now I see that's at the target. I then line up one parallel to it, this side of the ball, making sure that this club here and that club there are pretty much parallel to one another. Pick up the club behind the ball and now set myself up in such a way I'm trying to get the club face at 90 degrees or right angles to the target, and then I set myself up. So now I've got an idea that this club here is on a line parallel to the target line, and that's really what we're looking for. So remember, get this line between your feet and the ball. Make sure it's parallel left of your target. It's just like a railway line. This is one side of the track. This is the other side of the track. And then just sense that your toes, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your eyes are all parallel to this club on the ground. If you can get into this routine, I guarantee you you'll have a more disciplined practice session, and certainly you want to change your direction, your aiming point frequently, just so you don't get used to one direction. But practice like this. You're practicing then with a purpose, and if you can do that, your game will improve tremendously. Let me show you a little way to help you to get yourself aligned correctly at address. You set yourself down in the position where, hey, you hold it with the left hand only, and then position yourself. You see, by doing this with my left hand, I can now bring my right hand in, and my right side now sets down lower. So now I'm in a position where, hey, my shoulders are square. It'll feel like, if you're doing this correctly, that your left shoulder is more forward and it's aimed well to the right of the target. I bet you it isn't. It's just because you've been this way for so long. So remember, set up with the left hand first, bring your right hand from underneath in this fashion here. That gets your right side lower, that gets your right side trailing, as we term it, and you'll be in a much better position. Your upper body will be nice and square, I guarantee it. And you'll see you have every chance then to get the club coming from the inside as opposed to coming from the outside, as most players do.